Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. This is session 14.3, and I want to go over to the guitar amp simulator next, kind of show that off for you. So just a quick overview. I mean, this one comes right after the vocoder. As usual, you've got your two different sets of settings. So you get 6 settings total here. Your first one is your amp type, which is JC, which is an emulation of the Roland JC120. You've got Twin, which is a simulation of the Fender Twin Reverb. You've got BG here, which is a simulation of the Mesa Boogie combo. You've got Match, which is the Matchless Dc30. You've got MS, which is the Marshall 1959 simulation, and you got SLDN, which is the Soldano Slow 100. So, and I'll just, as I said, I told you I was going to go to GarageBand here to do some of this. We'll just get some of this starting to play here. So, while that's playing, the level basically allows you to adjust how loud the output is going. Of like the overall of everything. Drive, as you can see with drive at 0, it's not doing anything. But the drive's basically how hard you're driving the signal through the simulated amplifier, and you will hit distortion if you go up high enough. And that's why you have this level knob, so you can adjust what the level is, because it gets really loud. So let's turn that back down. But as you go through all these simulations, you can decide kind of where you think there's maybe a sweet spot for overdriving. You can also, on this bottom row, on all these simulations, you can come in, and you can either remove bass, or you can add bass in. At 0, you're neutral. Minus 100, you're taking it away. Plus 100, you're adding it. Same thing for mid. You can come in and kind of tweak some of that. And the treble's going to take off that high end. So, depending on what kind of scale you're playing in, where you're at on your chord progressions, you may or may not hear that much, but you can use these to accentuate things. This is, for example, the Match. Actually, let's go to the Twin first. We'll go back. So, and if you get sick of this playing, don't worry, I've heard it a ton. Just playing around with this. So, again, you can get into some pretty good overdriving levels. I'm personally not a huge fan of overdriving to a huge extreme for most sounds, but it can be good. From the Twin, you get the BG, which it definitely has a fuller sound to it. And I'd say it starts sounding like it overdrives a little bit earlier than some of the other amp simulators. So it depends. If you really want to go nuts, you can. Otherwise, you can kind of keep it a little bit lower, and you can start hearing that overdriving. Next up, you've got the Match, the Matchless Dc30. This one seems like it's got a bit more headroom in the simulation. From what I've seen, around 50 to 60, depending on what you're playing through it, is where you'll start hearing the overdriving kind of come in. And again, I don't think that the bass, middle, and treble are doing a whole lot that are amp specific or amp and speaker specific. I think these are just kind of after you've run things. Of the batch, you got the MS, the Marshall 1959, and again, I would say this is another one that it seems like it has some pretty good headroom. I kind of like the tone of how this sounds when you're overdriving it. It feels like you can go a little bit higher too and get a little bit more control over it. And then last but not least, we've got the Soldano. And I don't know, I just find this one like a really rich, pretty rich sound to me. I'm not a guitar player though. I don't live with it and breathe this, so are these great guitar and amplifier simulators. I don't know that they're great guitar amp simulators. I think they do the job. They sound pretty good, and I think makes a good replacement on a pedal board for somebody that might be not wanting to carry a whole bunch of amp simulators, or you want something that can get you a bit more effects. I think this helps me at least understand why somebody that is more into guitars and just needs a few samples to trigger stuff might go for this, might use it on their pedal board or someplace else, or even just kind of use this as the one thing that you hook a guitar into and just kind of play with. So hopefully this helps you guys understand kind of some of the sound effects for the guitar amp simulator. Keep recording music, guys. Have fun. Peace.